Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Arizona Coyotes franchise mode here in NHL 22. So last episode we lost the Stanley Cup Finals to the Ottawa Senators, which was a negative, of course, but at least you could take away a few positives from that series and from that entire Stanley Cup run, because our young team got a lot of experience and it should help us in terms of future years, because we had a pretty good playoff run up until we faced the Sens. We won game 1 but then lost 4 straight because our team just really couldn't defend against a really tough Ottawa team that had like Connor Bedard and whatnot. Like, that Ottawa team was actually one of the best AI related teams I've ever seen, I think. But we still had a good playoff run. I will skim through the player stats again just in case you guys forgot about the player stats. But you can see we had some good point production from mostly every single player on our team. So it definitely was a good run for the most part. The only problematic players really on our team were Connor Geekie, who only had 1 goal and 6 points. He was also -8, so I'm kind of hoping that he could be a little bit better next year when we make the playoffs again, because we more than likely will make it back again. And then the other problematic player that we're probably going to be trading away at some point is Vasily Ponomarev. He had only 1 assist through 21 games and was a -6, which is not good enough at all. During the regular season, he was not terrible. He had 36 points, but then in the regular season, he just could not score at all, and he really didn't help us out. He only had 24 shots in 21 games as well, which is not really that much. So he just really wasn't doing anything for us, and we probably will end up signing him still in this offseason because he is an RFA, so I probably will sign him for like 1 year, but we might end up trading him away in like next episode at the beginning of the season, or before we even sign free agents and stuff like that. So Ponomarev might be on the block, as well as we are going to be making a few other changes to the team this offseason. Like, I think I will probably try to find a way to trade away Yoki Haru, because we do have defensemen in the system that could jump up, as well as Bodine might be a depth defenseman for us next season, that type of thing. So we are going to go through a little bit of changes going into next year, but I think this team should be still competitive because we do still have a pretty good top 6 and whatnot and defensive core. But anyways, before we get into the draft and re-sign stage, we do have a few comments to go over. So the first one is from Mike Garbrandt. He says, great season. If you're going to trade anyone, look at the draft and move up or get some picks. Can't wait for the next one. So he's saying to potentially move up, which I don't really think I will do, because I think this team just needs to stay where they are in the terms of the draft, because honestly, we do not need maybe any elite prospects and stuff like that yet. We won't even really need any prospects to an extent, because we do have a lot of guys in the AHL that are going to be jumping up. But we will probably add like a goalie prospect that's supposed to go in like the early second round, like, because there was comments from like, I think, yeah, it was a Hawks fan 88. He says, tough way to end the season. I think you should actually take Adams with your first pick, since a goalie is going that high is probably going to be elite potential. Then you'll have 2 elite goalies, and you could trade one for something that will be hopeful for the team. So he's saying to take an Adams with our first pick, so we will probably end up just taking the goalie, and maybe he could be trade bait down the road, because we do have a goalie prospect in the system that's growing really well. He's a 72 at 19, so I'm hoping that guy could be in the NHL in a few years as well. And yeah, that type of thing. Also, Hawksman says, though, that he would bring back Farinacci on a 1-year deal, considering how much he wants for a multi-year deal. Ponomarev, he says he would qualify him as an RFA and then trade him, since he does want a lot and he didn't do anything in the playoffs. You could definitely afford to lose Campbell because of Wallstead. Other than that, I think you should definitely try and bring everybody else back. So let's take a look at those players that are up for renewal this off season. So he's saying to bring back Farinacci on a 1-year deal, which is probably what we are going to do, just so he drops his asking price, because right now, if you go to like 8 years, which we wanted to eventually get him on like an 8-year deal, he wants like almost $14 million, which is a lot of money to give to a guy that only has top 6 potential. So he could grow into an elite player. There's always that case, but we will give him 1 year, and then next year we'll give him a long-term deal probably. He also says that we could let go of Campbell, which is pretty much what I was saying in last episode, is I think we are going to be replacing Campbell this year with Wallstead, because Wallstead played a little bit in the NHL this regular season, and he was actually pretty damn good, and he was also really good in the AHL. Like, he had his best AHL season yet, so I think he deserves an opportunity to be our backup, even if he's only a 78. And then he was also mentioning about the thing, like I was saying with Ponomarev, is probably signing him and then trading him. We'll probably wait till the start of the regular season to trade him away, I think, because that way we could see how our lineup is situated without him and that type of thing. And then maybe we could get better trade offers, but I still will look at the draft and see if there's any trade offers for him. but I probably won't trade him away at the draft. He'll probably be at either free agency or the start of the season. And then the final comment is from Pens Gaming 7. He says, "Been said a lot, but it's a really good season. Tough way to lose, but those experiences will only make this team better. This young team will be hungry next year and should go on a tear like Tampa in real life. I think you should keep the core together, maybe pick up some depth on forward and defense, and then maybe make a big trade at the deadline." So, yeah, we might end up making some trades at the deadline in this upcoming season because we obviously need to try and figure out a way to get this team being better. Maybe it is bringing in a little bit more veteran players to this team, because currently our only veterans really are like Boone Jenner, for example. So if we bring in maybe more veterans and stuff like that at trade deadlines, maybe that will help us out in terms of the playoffs. But anyways, those were the comments that I got in the last episode. So let's get into this draft, and then we'll get into the resign stage. I don't know if we'll make any trades at the draft. The only one I would say that we might make is getting rid of Yoki Haru, because I do want to get rid of Yoki Haru just because we need to get Tukinen into the lineup, and then also using Bodin as depth next season because Schneider could jump into that defensive core as well. So anyways, let's get into this draft and take that goalie that we were mentioning. But let's first go to find trade and see what we could get for potentially Ponomarev right now and for Yoki Haru. Yoki Haru, we're going to definitely trade away in this offseason. But Ponomarev, I might wait till the start of the season, like I was mentioning. So Yoki Haru get fetches a 4th and a 5th right now. 3rd and a 7th from Carolina. 3rd and a 6th from the Oilers. So there definitely is interest, which is definitely what we want. 3rd and a 6th. I guess we'll take a 3rd and a 6th from who was the first team that offered it? Edmonton. Edmonton, though, is close to getting to the Stanley Cup Finals, so they might end up winning a cup with Yoki Haru. Ottawa just won the Stanley Cup. I don't think they'll go for back-to-back, but they could. And Tampa Bay, I don't really know where they are, so I think I'm going to send him to Tampa Bay. So best of luck, Henry, in Tampa Bay. And that will free up that defensive spot for either Tukinen or Schneider, or both of them technically in a sense. And then Bodin will be depth, so our defense is fine. And now let's just take a look at what we could get for Ponomarev, because Ponomarev I'm kind of interested about. So we could get some stuff for Ponomarev already, but there are only 2 offers, and one of them is pretty enticing actually. Jack Hughes and a 7th round pick for the rights to Ponomarev. Huh. That's an interesting one. But I don't really know how Jack Hughes fits on this team, because we do already have Hayton, and we already have Farinacci's our top 2 centers. He fits our second line. Like, we'd have to probably move like Hayton to the wing or something like that. Like, it really doesn't work for us, this trade, because I'm more looking for like a third liner, like bottom 6 players. Like Jack Hughes wouldn't really fit anywhere on our top 6 because of the fact we already have like Shelley, we have Agostino, we have a lot of good young guys. Like, this would be a nice trade to make, but I honestly don't think I can make it because Ponomarev obviously is more of a 3rd line player, which is technically what we're looking for. So I'm not going to do this trade, but this is an interesting offer. Didn't expect to actually get offered Jack Hughes straight up pretty much, and an extra 7th round pick to take him on for an extra year or whatever it is. But that is interesting. Okay, so Calgary's got 1st overall. What are they going to take on the 1st overall pick? They take Yip, who's an 84 power forward. Damn, that's a pretty good overall. This guy doesn't even have a zone ability, though, which is kind of weird for a 1st overall pick. But he's got unstoppable force and big tipper. It's a pretty good power forward, though, despite the X Factor stuff. At number 2, Boston takes Cam Beats, who's a 2-way defenseman. Chicago takes Kardatainen. I don't think I've ever seen that name before in franchise mode, but there you go. Good defender there. Nashville at number 4 is going to take Versteeg, who's a DFD, and the Islanders at 5 are going to take Reitz, who's a 76 DFD. Interesting. Let's sim up to our pick, and then we'll take a look at the picks before our pick as well, just because I believe that was in this series, or maybe it was my other series, though, that somebody mentioned to see if we missed anything, and we just missed that goalie, though. Damn it, Philadelphia. They just took that goalie that you guys were mentioning. Take high starter for Ben Adams. So he wasn't an elite goalie, but that really sucks that we end up losing out on that goalie. But did we miss anything good? We missed out on a low elite. It was a little bit before in Sestito. Interesting. A couple top 6 forwards, and pretty much the usual things you'll see in the 1st round. Top 6 forwards and top 4 defensemen. But those were the only two special ones. A 75 at 9 overall, 9th overall. That's pretty crazy for Judre in New Jersey. Interesting. Let's take a look at what we could get with our pick, since now we can't get that goalie. There is a defensive prospect that looks decent and 1 year away. I think we gotta go Pavel Ladikov. I mean, getting more defensemen in is a good thing because we do not really have a lot in the system at the moment. Like, a lot of our guys have like low top 4 potential in there, so I think we are going to definitely take Pavel Ladikov, who could be an OFD. He could be a two-way defenseman. He lacks size, which is kind of problematic, but he might be like a Torrey Krug, which would be a pretty good steal for the late round. Apparently it says he's playing in Russia, but it has a Belarus flag, which is kind of weird. I don't know if it's because he's from like wherever that place is. I can't even remember what that flag is. But yeah, we're going to take Ladipov here because I think he might be the best option. And he's going to be a 72 offensive defenseman, medium top 4. I thought he was going to be an OFD. And he does have X factors too. He's got good wrist shots and good skating. That's actually a pretty damn good pick. 86 offensive awareness already. His passing's not good though, which is kind of weird for an OFD. But he does have good wrist shot power and slap shot power. Interesting. So he might be a defenseman that scores more goals than anything else, but I do really like that pick. Now, this guy could jump right to our AHL system if we want to, so I might leave him unsigned until the free agency portion. And then you guys can let me know if you guys want me to sign him up for the AHL or not, because we do have a very close 50 out of 50 contracts, so we might not be able to sign him right away. Okay, let's zoom to our next pick and see if we missed anything good before our pick. Couple top 6 forwards, a medium elite goalie in Dwyer. Damn. Well, it doesn't really matter. This guy's a 51, so that guy would be a little bit of a project player. There's a low elite two-way defenseman, so maybe we didn't make the best choice in the draft. But still a pretty good draft, it looks like, so far. Our next pick, we will take... We don't really know a lot about this draft class. This guy also actually looks pretty good for a defenseman, based on those attributes. Yeah, I might take that dude. He's 6'3", 216, so he's probably a DFD, but he looks pretty good. And if he is a good overall, that would be pretty nice as well. So yeah, let's take Chris Sasaki from Brandon. Why not? And he's a 70 overall low elite defenseman. Jeez. Yeah, this is a good draft. Okay, and he's got zone abilities too. Okay, I think I just won the draft here with this pick. I don't think I've ever had this good of a player in the second round. He's got shutdown zone ability. He's got quick pick, bouncer, stick him up back at you, and truculence. Like, this guy's a very good old school defensive defenseman, and he's a 70 in low elite. Like, he can't play in the AHL yet, even, which is pretty nuts. But he might be cracking our defensive lineup in a few years, which means guys like Sam Marukov, maybe even Soderstrom might be on their way out eventually. But Sasaki looks like he's going to be really good for this team eventually, because he could be NHL ready within one season even. But that was an amazing pick. Didn't expect him to have zone abilities and stuff like that. Calgary's trying to get our second round pick for a third and a sixth. No, thank you. That means there must be somebody intriguing on the board still. Just who isn't? 4 years away. That might be a low elite. Because, yeah, there's probably more low elites that are supposed to go in this area. Because 4 years away, usually I find is low elite. 3 years away is like top 6. So there actually might be a good player around this spot, and that's why Calgary was trying to trade for it. I just don't know which one of these low elite potential guys it might be. Because there's two of these guys that are like 2-bar low elites. And then there's some guys that are 1-bar low elite. I'm probably going to take a forward since we've been taking a couple defensemen. So let's take Vincent Dalmont, because why not get another centerman in? And he's another low elite. Jeez. Yeah, this is a really stacked draft class. This might be one of the best drafts I've seen, and this is only like on medium depth or whatever you want to call it. This guy might be a little bit more of a project player, but still he could be a good player in the future, so I definitely like that, especially with guys like Barrett Hayton, who could be on the way out eventually because of cap reasons and stuff like that. So, but yeah, we're killing this draft so far. Do we go with a low top 6? Potentially. 4 years away. Maybe. Silverberg looks pretty good as well. Might be a 3-year ETA. You know what, we're going to take Silverberg, give it a chance. We've been doing really good this draft so far, so might as well. Low top 6, 60 overall power forward. I'll take that, I guess. Good offensive awareness in some solid offensive categories, but very bad defensively. So I don't really know if that guy's going to make anything, but it's okay. Another offer in this draft. That's interesting. So I guess a lot of teams are interested in players in this draft. So there must be another good player around this point, or else we wouldn't have got offered a trade, I would assume. Steven Simmons. No weakness, apparently. That's enticing, and he could have some X factors. You know, we're going to take a chance with Steven Simmons. He's 19, though, so he might not be that good. 7th D. Oh, okay, that's our worst pick of the draft by far. 58 overall, 7th D at 19. Yikes. Okay, it looks like the draft quality is going to drop off a lot now. But at least we had a good first few rounds. But, yeah, now it's looking like we're going to just not get anything good. Pronger's a low top 6D, but he probably won't reach his potential. Let's go with Elliot Collins, maybe. He's a 20-year-old, though. We could just jump and get another goalie prospect, which I think I'm going to do. So, yeah, let's get Pandolfo. Why not? And he's a backup, 52 overall, so he probably won't pan out, really, but it's okay. Another goalie prospect into the system. And our next pick, Alex Carlton. Yeah, let's take Carlton. Why not? Low bottom 6 grinder. Yeah, the rest of this draft is pretty damn weak. Like, it was the first 3 rounds that were really good, but since then it's dropped off a lot. And a starting goalie prospect, maybe, I don't know. Any potential guys? Not really, unless these guys are elite. There's a gem that's supposed to go undrafted. I don't know if that's actually accurate or not. This guy would probably be better for next year's draft, to be honest, but we're going to take this guy since he's listed as a gem for fun. And he's a low league goalie. What the heck? I don't think I've ever seen a low league goalie before. I've only seen like medium league goalies, medium starters. I don't think we've ever seen a low league goalie. 51 overall. So we drafted like 3 low leads this draft, which is kind of nuts. So hopefully a lot of them pan out. But that was a pretty successful draft, I'd say. Ladipov was pretty good. Sasaki was pretty good. Both of them are over 70 overall and have good potential. Damon, Silverberg were okay as well. Yeah, Damon was low elite, right? I think. Simmons and Pandolfo and Carlton weren't great. And then Hornquist could be something decent for the future. Who knows? Actually, I haven't seen a low elite goalie because Wallstead, I almost forgot about him. But I don't think I've ever seen an EA generated be a low elite like that. So that is our draft. We traded away Yoki Haru and we drafted a lot of good players. Let's try and re-sign some of our coaches, I think. Is our head coach still match our system well or no? We don't know for sure yet. Let's try and get our assistant coach back if we can. And we probably won't be able to get the goalie coach back, which is unfortunate, but we'll see if those guys accept. And then we do have a scout to get back for the extra liga. At least it's only 1 scout because I hate when it's like 5 scouts and then they all re-sign at the same time. There we go. And now we got to get into re-sign stage, which is going to be pretty interesting, I think. Okay, so we have 35 million in cap space, which is not really a whole lot. But let's sign up Farinacci and get these guys done with first. Farinacci only for 3 years actually only wants 8.9 now, which is not a lot. His asking price has dropped. We might end up locking him up soon, but I don't know if I want to give him 8 years yet. I might give him 1 year and then see. Ponomarev, we're just going to get back for 1 year and then potentially trade him away. So let's just try and talk him down to $2 million for 1 year, and then we could trade away him potentially in next episode already. Well, more than likely next episode. And then in terms of other players, Bodine, we're not giving you 3 years. We'll give you 1 year because you're going to be playing as a depth defenseman for us more than likely. Schneider, you're going to be probably playing our defensive core next year. We're going to give you that $800K. Why not? Tracy's definitely going to be in our NHL lineup. Let's try and talk him down a little bit as well. And then these other RFAs that we signed, Henriksen and Gustafsson, I think we have to let them go. Henriksen wants a 2-way deal, same with Gustafsson. That's interesting. But I do need to free up the contract spaces because we do got guys in the AHL. So I'm going to let them go without even qualifying them for now. Just because of the fact I need to get see what our roster looks like first. Like, these guys were just depth pickups pretty much. And there's a chance we could get them back in free agency anyways. So we'll let them go for now. Oh, I didn't want to qualify them. God damn it. I wanted to release him. Well, I guess Henriksen's going to get qualified, but it is what it is. And then Gustafsson, we're going to let go of him for now. I'm also going to let go of Liam Kirk already, even though we do not have, like, he could just go back to the AHL. It's more just to get guys into our system that we just drafted and stuff like that. So, and then the rest of these guys, I think I might let go of these two guys as well because they're not good enough, really. And I would rather EA generated over them. So, and then in terms of our goalies, Lenefelt, wow, he wants $8 million if he go up to 8 years. I don't want to sign him too long term because we do have goalie prospects in the system that can replace him. So I think I'll give him a 3-year deal, and I'll try and get him to like 5.6. Yeah, I think that's reasonable because then teams would still probably want to trade for him at some point. And then Wallstead, we'll give him, what if he 3-year deal? See if he wants to sign a 3-year 2-way deal, because then he'll be our NHL backup at a really cheap price. Tendek, we're also going to re-sign for the AHL still. And then goalies, Jack Campbell is going to go, unfortunately. He was a pretty good regular season goalie for us. He kind of struggled in the playoffs until the Stanley Cup Finals. But, yeah, he's going to be gone because of Wallstead. So best of luck in free agency, Jack. Hopefully you go on and win a Stanley Cup somewhere. And then Prosvetov, I'm also going to be letting go of because of that medium league goalie that I said I have. That's a 72 at 19. So Prosvetov, best of luck in free agency. Hopefully somebody gives you a contract. And unsigned wise, let me go to this first before we go to our UFA forwards. We are going to sign up Pedersen for the AHL goalies. These other two we're going to wait on for now. I could sign Ladipov right now and Sasaki, but I'm going to wait and see what you guys want me to do for next episode, because Ladipov could play in the AHL next year, while Sasaki won't. So we could just leave Sasaki unsigned for now, so we don't burn a year off his ELC or whatever. And that's good. Anybody else that needs to be signed? I don't think so. We could sign Bykov, who I believe was our first rounder, last year. We could always sign him, but I don't really know if I want to sign him yet. But I might wait a little bit on him. In terms of our UFAs, who do we got up for renewal? Some pretty big names. So let's go to the bottom of this list first and let go of some of these guys that aren't going to make it to the AHL team, unfortunately. Madden. Was Madden a first round pick or no? He was a third rounder. I don't think he's going to pan out. And we have a lot of defensive prospects anyways. We're going to let go of Kress as well. Even though those guys have potential, just they're not going to find a way to fit onto this team pretty much. Ryder's got low top 4, which isn't bad, but I don't really see him fitting onto our defensive core either. So, wait, was he a third rounder? He was. I'm going to let him go as well. You guys might be thinking I'm crazy letting go in a lot of these prospects, but a lot of them won't get a chance to play in our AHL system even, so it's best to let them go, and then maybe an AI team will pick them up instead. Kulik as well. These two I'm definitely going to sign though, because both of them have low top 6 potential and they're over 70 overall at 20, so might as well get them in for the AHL club. And we're also going to let go of a few other players here like Cameron Karate, just to get more AHL players into the system. Yeah, we're going to let go of Karate. I could use him as a depth defenseman, but we will be using Baudin instead, so Karate is going to go to free agency as well. Achari was playing in the AHL. He's gone as well. He was more of a cap whale, I think, kind of. Armia is also, I think, going to leave because Armia, even though he was good, like he was really good in the playoffs especially, he is dropping. He's 33 years old. He's listed more as a depth forward. We could bring him back as a depth option in this upcoming season if we really want to. But we do have guys in the AHL that are pretty hungry to get into the lineup. So I'm going to let go of Armia for now as well. And then the rest of these guys, I think I would like to try and bring them back. Timmins wants 5 years at 5.6, but he might get replaced by one of those guys in our system at some point. So I'm not going to give him that much term. I'm going to give him 3 years and see if he would go down to 5.5, which I think is still a movable contract if we really want to trade him away. Julian Gauthier we really don't need, but he's a good fit for our third line. And I believe he doesn't want too much. Yeah, he doesn't really want a lot of money. So he's a low risk, high reward type of player. So let's give him 1 year at $2 million. And then Boone Jenner really doesn't want to come back, which is interesting. He wants $3 million to pretty much play on our fourth line and penalty kill and stuff like that. A lot of you guys said to bring him back, which I agree with. His defensive stats are pretty good, which is something we don't really have. The only thing is there's hungry guys in the AHL, but I think I will give him a 1-year deal for now and see if he resigns that. And if he does, then he will stay with his team for now. But we could always bring him back in free agency if he somehow jumps to free agency. But let's advance today and see if we get all those guys back. Hopefully a lot of them accepted. Okay, let's just go through this fastly. And Timmins is the one that rejected on UFA, so Boone Jenner did come back. Oh yeah, we do still have Farinacci and Ponomarev to give contracts to. I'm not opposed to giving Farinacci 3 years at 8.9. Or, well, I would lower it down to like 8.65. I'm not opposed to that, and then after those 3 years, we'd have to give him a big deal, and there's a chance he could walk by 3 years out. But I think 3 years for 8.65 is not terrible. I might be even get him lower than that if the 85% trick actually works during this stage, which some of you guys said it doesn't. But I'm going to still try it anyways and open up my calculator on my computer and see if we could get him for less money, because I would like to get Farinacci locked up if we can. Because obviously he's one of our best players in terms of offense. He plays really good with Shelley and whatnot too, so... he wants 8.95 actually, not 8.65. 95, let's see what this is, times 0.85, see if this will work. So it's saying that we can maybe get him down to 7.610, which would not be bad if that is the case. We'll give him that, see if he accepts that. And then Ponomarev did not accept his 1-year deal. Let's just try and give him the 2.275. and see if he'll accept that. Timmins I still want to get back because he's a good defenseman. Let's get him up a little bit, I guess. Give him a little bit more money. Advance a day. And we got a couple more rejections in there. So Timmins is a little bit expensive, it seems like. Farinacci rejected, but Ponomarev accepted that 1-year deal. Okay, yeah, I think we're going to just get Farinacci on a 1-year deal for now. And then hopefully he drops his asking price for next year. Hopefully it doesn't go up too much, because obviously next year is when Shelley's contract is up as well. We'll give him 1 year at 8.7 like he wants. And let me check the UFAs. Okay, that's all good, except for Timmins. I could give Timmins maybe like 6 million or something like that. I want to keep him around for now until Tukinen's ready to jump into that top 4. So that's pretty much the reason for keeping Timmins. So let's see if these guys accept now. And both of them did. Perfect. Okay, so we have 11 million in cap space, so we're actually pretty close to the cap floor. But what we have right now going into free agency, we got Hayton, Farinacci, Geeky, Ponomarev, but like we said, Ponomarev could end up getting Delta next episode, and Jenner. So we got 5 roster players there. Henriksen would be like a depth guy, but 5 roster players, 6, 7, 8, 9, potentially 10, 11 with Varlamov and Lawrence on the cusp. And then 12, 13, 14. I don't really think we need to sign any forwards, to be honest. Like, there's a chance, like, there's guys on the third line that I wouldn't mind bringing in via free agency, because there was some people I was looking at that could be pending free agents. But, yeah, I don't really know if we really need them because of Sadikov and stuff like that, and they could jump up. But it is up to you guys, I guess, if we want to sign players for our forward core. And then defensively, we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then, as I was mentioning before, it'd be Schneider and Tukinen on the top 6, while Bodine more than likely would be scratched. So I think defense is actually okay as well. And then goaltending should be fine as well. But it's up to you guys, I guess, if we want to sign anybody or not. So let's sim up to free agency. And Henriksen's going to accept that qualifying offer, not a surprise. Okay, so how are we actually in terms of contract spaces? How much spaces do we got? We got 7 spaces, so we can sign a couple players. We're up to 8.6 in cap space now. Did we give Henriksen a lot of money or something? Henriksen just got paid $4 million because I qualified him instead of giving him that 2-way deal he wanted. Well, that is kind of problematic, because now we're going to be able to sign a good player probably. But it is what it is. I don't know, maybe I could trade him away, but $4 million. He just got paid what he made last year. But if we do want to sign some players, let's go to UFAs, see what there is available. So in terms of, let's sort this by role, because why not? This is what's available for centers. So if you guys see anybody you want me to bring into this team or that you think should fit this team, let me know, and I'll take a look at some potential options for next episode. But Adam Gaudette, I believe, is one of those type of guys that fit our third line, so he wouldn't be bad to bring back. But honestly, we don't really need to probably bring in anybody with the amount of AHL guys. Shane Pinto's a UFA. That's an interesting one. He was a depth kind of guy for the Sens, but they didn't really use him that much. He wouldn't be a bad option. He's only 25. Could be a depth option for our team as well. Left wing wise, this is who's available. Clem Costin is the guy I was looking at for the third line, but he wants $3 million, which is a little bit expensive. But I know he does match our system probably. So he would be a pretty decent signing, but I don't know if he's going to put up a lot of points. Right wing wise, the best available is Patrick Kane. Connor Garland's available. But honestly, he doesn't fit our team really that well because we have way too much good top 6 forwards. So yeah, those are those guys. Defense, Hampus Lindholm. We don't really need any defense anyways, but just in case you guys want to take a look at this. Goalie-wise, not that we need any goalies, but there is some damn good goalies out there. Carter Hart, Demko, Anderson. Yeah, this is a really good goalie group. So that is that. And finally, let's take a quick look at the trading block, just in case you guys want me to see what there is out there for Ponomarev, because Ponomarev could get dealt. That would also free up some cap space, actually. Let me just go find trade first, just to see if we get any offers for him. And then we'll take a look at what's actually on the block, and then that'll be it for this episode, because we're already pretty long into this episode. So we could get a second and a fourth rounder. So it looks like we could pretty much just get picks for Ponomarev, which I'm not opposed to. There's a couple teams interested in him if we want to trade him away already. And yeah, let's quickly just gloss over the trading block. I'm not going to go super in depth with this just because we're already at like 32 minutes into this episode, and I do not want to keep you guys here all day. Right now, nothing super interesting. Trocheck and Kadri, solid veterans. Wait. Do any of those guys really fit third lines? No, they're probably more top 6 forwards. Nazem Kadri might be a good fit for our third line, but I'm not 100% sure with that. Some prospects that don't matter that much. Delandria, who's an RFA. Interesting. Rupi Hintz. Some solid players in Dallas. Hronek in Detroit. Nugent Hopkins in Edmonton. Yeah, there's definitely some players out there that we could potentially trade for if we want to, but these guys I don't really think we really need because of our younger guys, but it's up to you guys, I guess. Truba and Lindgren. Yeah, there's not really a super lot of interesting things. Like, there's a good lot of veterans, but some of them we wouldn't have anywhere to slot them into our team. Jack Rathbone is a defenseman. Jack Hughes is still on the block, which is kind of funny. And that's pretty much that. Oh, some good players actually there in Winnipeg. Jack Roslovic. Fits our third line and our power play. But I mean, he's more of a top 6 forward, which is the only problem. But if he was a good fit for our third line, we could trade for him, but he wouldn't get a lot of ice time, I don't think. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Arizona Coyotes franchise mode. So in next episode, we might make a few trades with like Ponomarev and stuff like that to free up some more cap space. We might sign some players that you guys think we should sign up for the next upcoming season. And yeah, hopefully this team can make it back to the playoffs next year and hopefully win a Stanley Cup. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.